Guys, welcome back to another whatever the hell this is, because I still don't have a name. John, you're gonna see this, and you said you would have a name for me by the end of the day yesterday, and I still haven't had the name. But today I'm interviewing my very, very, very good friend Ed Cannatelli, and I'm gonna have him introduce himself.
Thank you, Brandon. My name is Ed Cannatelli. Nice to meet everybody.
So how I met Ed, it was actually the same way I met John. I met him at UFIT a few years ago, and if you want to go into a little bit more detail of how we met, that would be great.
Yeah, I remember like it was yesterday. I was working out every morning very early, and I watched Brandon come in. I watched you come in, and you became an inspiration to me, whether you know it or not. And there were mornings that I didn't want to get out of bed, and I said, "Geez, if Brandon can get up and do, he's got every excuse in the world not to be there. Get your butt out of bed and get there." And I would watch you work hard no matter what. You never complained about anything, and you didn't let any of the challenges you've had in your life affect you, and you became an inspiration to me, and that's how we became friends. We started talking, and the rest is kind of history, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I'm thankful to have I'm thank you to have you as a friend because you've helped me through a few dark times, whether it's just with your daily text messages every morning. I really appreciate those.
Well, that's what we do, right? We help each other, we empower each other, and you never know when you're going to find inspiration or somebody you need or somebody that says the right thing to you, or sometimes it's just somebody saying hello to you,
Mm,
and we all get in dark places in our lives. I think the challenges of life is not easy, and I think we all get into some dark places here and there, and you'd be surprised where you find your inspiration from, or that person that kind of gives you that light.
yeah, I completely agree and understand. So the first question I wanted to ask you was, what was your perception on disability before you met me, and how has it changed after you met me?
That's an interesting question. Um, I never, I don't want to say I never viewed disability as a disadvantage. It's obviously a disadvantage, but I think we all have disabilities.
Mhm.
There's just certain things that I'm horrible at. I just don't excel at, and so I think some of them are more defined in terms of, when somebody has especially a physical um, disability, but I think we all have disabilities. I'm challenged in a lot of things in my life that I'm just not good at, and other things I'm good at, and I think we all have them. Um, and I think it makes me think a little bit more. Let me say that, right? So, I know my disabilities and my challenges in life, and I kind of just go through them. I would try to work through them. I've never been one to complain or one to make excuses, and I think that was my upbringing, being parents of immigrants. They had a lot of challenges, and they just kind of did what they needed to do to make a better life for us. So I learned at an early age, not, let's be part of the solution and not part of the problem. Um, but I think when you see somebody that has a challenge um, that's more pronounced, you know, and because like I said, I don't know how many people would work out at the same time we work out. There's maybe 50 people in the gym, 30 people, whatever it was. And I'm sure all of them have some kind of challenge going on at that particular time in their life.
Mhm.
Uh, and a disability in some kind of way, right? But I think when it's more pronounced in terms of a physical disability that you see, and you see people working through it, for me, it's inspirational. I've always looked at it as inspirational. It lets me know that no matter how bad it is, we can get through it, and we can get through it together, and we all need each other. There's nobody that goes through this life alone without help. And like I said, I'm proud to be a friend. I'm proud to watch you not let your disabilities define you,
Mhm.
because we all have that opportunity, right? We can all have each one of our disabilities define us, or we can, or work every day to work hard and not let our disabilities be the definition of who we are, right?
Yeah, that's definitely true. And and I'm just speaking from my perspective. Like when it comes to my disability, like when I was younger, I didn't really notice that I had a disability until I started to grow up. And I've mentioned this plenty of times in other interviews that you probably saw. Like it didn't really like hit me like, oh shit, I'm different, quote unquote, compared to my friends, because my other friends, they were, they were going out on dates, getting cars, and doing other physical activities that I would want to do, but it it's not that I couldn't do it, but at some point it's like, okay, I can do this, but is it smart for me to do this because of my safety? So,
That's understandable, sure.
yeah. All right. So the next question I wanted to ask you was it was a business related question, because I don't know if because for people watching who don't know, you run your own successful landscaping business. And for the people watching who probably want to know, how did you get started and what advice do you have for people who wanted to start a business?
So, well, first I gotta correct you. I'm a general contractor,
Mhm.
not a landscaper. Although we do a lot of high-end landscaping projects, they're part of our overall projects. We also have a myriad of other business. We own multiple businesses. We do some sales businesses. We do some consulting. We have a sports management. We have sports memorabilia, amongst other things. And then, of course, construction and development is our main business. My dad was in business. He was, like I said, my parents were immigrants.
Mhm.
My dad was a home builder, and I learned the business from him. He died when I was 26. As a matter of fact, yesterday, it was 32 years ago yesterday, they passed. And,
Oh.
I was, my mother says from the time I was 5, but I remember pretty much going with my dad every day that I could when I was in school, from the time I was 9. And he taught me the business. And then when he passed, I had a little trouble when he passed. I kind of went into that dark place that you talked about. We all go into a dark place, and I went into a really dark place after he passed. And then I came to Florida, quite a few years after that, probably, let me see, 9 years after that. And I started up my own construction business here. And, I had some good business acumen, because I grew up in a family business. My uncle also was in business, and I worked with him for a little bit. Uh, but I just always had an entrepreneurial spirit, a mindset. Um, I working for somebody. I think I did it for maybe a year of my life, but for the most part, I always did stuff on my own, different things.
Mhm.
Um, so it's just a matter of, it's kind of what I knew. When you grow up and your dad goes to let's say a factory or an office job every day, that's what you know. And
Mhm.
and my parents, as immigrants, they didn't have a lot of opportunities. So my dad had to start on his own, and he would just go. He was a carpenter and a home builder, and he would buy a piece of property, and we would go clear the lot, cut all the trees, and rent the bulldozer and run the machine and do what we had to do and build the house. And it's kind of how you learn. So watching my father be in the business himself, it just kind of became the norm. It's what you did.
Mhm.
I wonder if my father had an office job, how my life maybe would have been different, or if he had you know, a factory job, maybe I would have ended up in a factory. I don't know, but it just kind of became part of my upbringing and what I knew. So for me, it was kind of normal. You just went into business, right? So.
Yeah. Yeah, because if your dad would have if your dad would have had an office job, we would have never met.
Probably, yeah, yeah. You never know. You never know, right? It's funny how things happen in your life, and something takes a turn. And I ended up in Florida and had an opportunity to meet you and a lot of other great people. And so you never know. What when things happen in life and you think they're really bad and they turn out to be a positive. For me, those changes in my life were positive.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, obviously losing your dad isn't positive, but the outcome from it, after I went to that dark place, I ended up getting sober, and then I moved to Florida, and my life's been great since then. So
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, even just from the little bit, I mean, we don't get to hang out as much as we used to, or we don't get to hang out as much as we used to. But when we do hang out, it's cool to hang out with you because I get to see what it's like on the other side. Because everybody thinks, oh, if you have money, if you're well off, you're supposed to be snooty and an asshole, for lack of a better term. But you're far from it. You're far from it, and I really appreciate you showing me that other side and showing
well,
me that it is attainable.
thank you, Brandon. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you too. Always enjoy your company, and it's funny. Because I've been broke before. When you're in business, things don't always go great. I've been at the bottom, and I don't want to say at the top, but we do pretty well. Knock on wood. I truly believe that when you share your blessings with others, God continues to bless you. And we've been very fortunate. Most of our businesses have done really well for the most part. We've had some businesses that didn't do so good, but for the most part, we've always managed to do that. But it's always it's interesting because what I really learned from my parents was a couple of things. It's a hard work ethic. I still work, I don't know, 60, probably 60, 70 hours a week. I don't have to, but it's what I do. I get up early and I go to work and I go to the office and I go to the job sites and I go to a couple of different businesses during the week. And I guess it's part of, again, it was kind of ingrained in me, as a child of immigrants, that you work hard and you save your money and you treat people, never forget where you came from. I'm very fortunate that, my parents taught me that, and I've never forgotten. And I'm in my glory when I can put on a tool belt and go to work. I'm happy that I can wake up in the morning and go to work. And I'm a regular guy like everybody else. I like my sports. Me, I like sports. I like hanging out at the gym.
Mhm.
Now my new house that we built, the new house that my wife and I had, we built ourselves, has a gym in it. So I don't get to see you as often. So, but now that I know you're at Planet Fitness, I'm gonna have to sneak in there and maybe get a couple day passes from you so I can visit with you.
Yeah, and I definitely need to come visit. I know you've been wanting me to come visit your house for a
Yeah,
while.
you got to come and get a workout in at our gym.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. We'll talk about that more probably after sometime later on, like in the week to do that. I just have to see what my schedule's like, but I definitely want to set that up.
Great.
Okay. So this might be the last question, depending on the answer, or depending on how I feel. But one of the last questions I wanted to ask you, what was your feeling on success? How would you describe how would you describe success when you were younger, and how would you describe it now that you're older?
Brandon, that's a great question. So, when I was young, it was money. It was all about money, right?
Mhm.
Materialistic, profit and loss statements, and it's changed drastically as I've gotten older. Yesterday I had all my kids were here, my grandkids, and the fact that they want to like hang out with dad and no, and my grandkids want to, to me, that's success. The mentoring that we get to do with some of the people, both in the sobriety field and in the construction and business. We've mentored a lot of people in business,
Mhm.
and that to me is success. The fact that I wake up in the morning, I'm happy. I love what I do. I enjoy my life. I'm healthy, knock on wood. I've had cancer and a couple other things that I've been able to get past. So we take some things for granted, but for the most part, I'm healthy. Um, I consider myself successful because a couple of those things. I'm sober 23 years now, coming up on 23 years. And that's another big successful thing for me, right? So yeah, my success at this age is measured much differently than it was in my, let's say, 30s, right? Now that I'm in my late 50s. So for me, it's more about having balance in my life, a good family life, um, kids. I really enjoy when my kids come over and they just want to hang out and do stuff. And our granddaughter is living with us now that she started at FAU, and hanging out with her, it's a lot of fun. So yeah, that's a really good question, Brian, because your vision of success drastically changes as you age. That's for sure.
Thank you, thank you. So I I don't actually. That is a great place. That is a great place to end. I don't think I could top that question because the answer to that was just amazing. So
Thank you.
uh, again, again, thank you to Ed for being on whatever this is because I don't have a title. Again,
Well,
John, you
hopefully
said
when
you
I
would.
see you next time, we'll have a name for it, right?
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully, hopefully, John, you're gonna watch this. I know you're gonna watch this because I'm probably gonna bother you later. You said you would have a title. I need the title. We're probably gonna have to workshop it because it's probably gonna be something crazy, but I need the title. But yeah, thank you again, Ed. You didn't have to
Thank
do
you for
this.
having me, Brandon.
Yeah, yeah, you didn't have to do this. I know you're a busy man with a busy schedule. I mean, even though we're cool, you didn't have to do this, but I really appreciate you doing this with me.
Anytime, anything for a good friend.
All right, all
All
right,
right, make sure
everybody.
you call me. All
All
right.
right, for sure.
Thank you. Take care.
All right, take care.